All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Big, Beautiful, and Wealthy podcast, TV show, live stream, something. I haven't figured out a perfect name for it yet, but
It's a
nobody
thing.
cares. Like
The thing.
we love it. Like it's love, right?
Yes.
So this is what dreaming out loud looks like,
I
right?
love that. I'm a
This is what dreaming
fan.
out loud look like.
I'm a
I
fan.
would
This
love
is
to introduce y'all know me. I am Coach Rema the Great. And I am introducing tonight's guest, Coach Jayla. I always call her Kayla. I mess up her name all the time, and she forgives me because she's the best.
every time.
Absolutely, absolutely love this woman. And before we get in, I would like you to introduce yourself, where you're from. Give us like a fun fact about yourself before we
Ooh.
start diving into these questions.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Coach Jayla, Coach J, Coach Jayla Marie. All of those apply. And where am I from? That is such a loaded question. I'm an Army brat. So
Do it.
I'm
Do
from
it.
many
Just load them
places.
up.
I was born in Germany. I lived in Virginia forever. I had an opportunity to travel a lot. So I will always say that I am from Virginia, no matter where I live ahead. Now, the funny thing is, when I was 17 years old, I visited New York. And ever since then, I'm like, oh, well, my soul and my spirit's from New York. And my dad will tell all his friends, he's like, oh, yeah, my daughter's a New Yorker. She just happens to live wherever she's living, but this isn't where she's from. That's not her
That's why
spirit.
you got to come back. That's why we need you in New York. I've been saying like I'm kidnapping Kayla. That's it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so my sprite is from New York, right? And
Just
I
right in spirit.
Sprite is from New York. My Sprite is from New York, and so that little nugget of me. I am. Let's see. I am a licensed women's empowerment coach, which I love, and operating in this capacity has been so rewarding for me. I decided to actually become a women's empowerment coach after a tumultuous 12-year marriage ended.
And we're going to talk about that. We're going to dig
Sorry.
in there.
Am I allowed to celebrate that?
You're allowed to celebrate that after 12 years.
Okay.
You're allowed. That
So I decided to do that. It's funny. I've always had a heart to serve. I've always had a heart to serve. I mean, my longest standing job was in a restaurant because I have a heart to serve. I understand how you have to just sort of be humbled and centered as an individual to give, right? So I've always had a heart to serve. And fun facts, let's see, I have my undergraduate degrees in music, so I'm classically trained.
do what? Sing? Play what?
Classically trained to sing, yes. And I'm currently in vocal lessons working on my Broadway talent because ultimately I will be performing on Broadway and musical theater.
Question. Can I get you to like harmonize something?
Oh, wait. Pause.
We could harmonize together.
I don't know. I may not.
All right. We can do the ABCs. Ready?
You harmony. I'll hold the melody. You harmonize. My see, don't give me that face. You can't. I mean, if you want me to sing a little something, I could do it. I don't know about harmony. We got a plan. I like to plan.
All right.
But no, I am my undergraduate degree is in music. I'm classically trained. We get trained to sing in Italian, German, Latin, French, and my master's degree is in communications. So I do hold an MA in communications. I'm a licensed insurance agent. I got a lot of things. I'm a licensed insurance agent. So all the things are covered. What I love to do. Oh, and also I'm the CEO of Jayla Marie Accessories, which is an extension of Jayla Marie Coaching. And I make one-of-a-kind handbags. I never make the same bag twice. So between my musical theater pursuits and theater pursuits, my coaching, my women's empowerment coaching, and the bags that I create, I actually feed all the aspects of who I am as a person, which is important because a lot of people don't take that leap to say, okay, what else do I need to feel whole and fulfilled, not necessarily needing an individual to get there. Like, how can I get there myself? What can I give myself to get to the point? So, we pay the bills with insurance. We're going to be paying bills with coaching very soon. It also allows me to give back and share my testimony and help other women heal and grow and self-actualize and be the best versions of themselves. And then with my fashion, I'm able to tap into my creative aspects and the coaching with the creative aspects. So every part of me gets really, really fed, which is important because I starved for a long time.
I love that. I think it's time to eat. All right, so we're gonna get into this. So my first question to you is, what do people think you do, and what do you actually do? Because I heard, and we're gonna get into the strategy session a little bit. I've heard all of these wonderful different things that you have going on. However, when presenting, a lot of people may think it's one or the other. So my question to you is, what do people think you do?
I love it.
And what is it that you actually do?
People think that I work, that I earn a paycheck, that I show up and I punch a clock. And what I actually do is I help people find themselves. I help people come back to themselves after loss of some kind. And that loss can be anything. It can be the passing of a loved one, loss of a job, loss of a relationship, loss of self.
Right.
And I help you come back to yourself through healing, self-actualization, and radical self-love. Yes.
A lot of people don't know the difference between grief and bereavement.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a difference. And, grief is the stopping of something that you've been doing for so long. And instantly it just has to stop. And you have to figure some things out, right? You got to get to your new normal. Right. Whereas bereavement is the missing of someone that had passed away. So it's a big difference of the two. And we grieve a lot as people. We grieve old jobs. We grieve. So that's that lost piece that you were saying, when you have to find yourself, because we lose ourselves when we put so much into certain things like jobs, right? Relationships, friendships, things of that nature, even old selves. Because I tell you, there's been a time where I've grieved the old me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been there.
I wish I was that. I wish, she was so bold. She was this, she was that. Right?
Yes. Okay. Am I allowed to curse? Are we allowed to curse? Is this a curse? Okay. So I had to ask because I used to want to be the baddest bitch in the room. I was like, oh, that's Miss Bitch to you. I'm Queen Bitch. And I had to realize that there wasn't strength or healing in operating in that.
Right.
And I went through a period where I was like, oh man, I kind of wish I was still her. And I'm like, well, wait, I'm the elevated version of her.
So there's a theory of what you say you are, right? So, I go by Rema the Great. Everybody hears me say it. It sounds weird to others, but whatever. And I tell people, if I told you I was a bitch, instantly I do something, you'd be like, well, that's because she told us she's a bitch.
And that's because she's a bitch.
If I told you that I was a comedian, which I've said, then instantly she's funny. She's a comedian. If I told you I was an asshole and I did something, oh, that's because she said she's an asshole.
Right.
I tell you I'm great. Two things happen. The first thing is, who walks around and say that? Right? So people will be like, the audacity she has, right? Where she's great at. So they're looking for this great thing to happen. And then others would be, because I'm so confident in it, the others would be like, all right, I believe her. She's great.
Oh, yeah.
So it becomes a thing. So when we affirm who we are, like you said, I'm the baddest bitch. Like, who wants to be the baddest bitch? Because we say this to ourselves, we hear it and we know the definition of it.
Right.
And we still go for it.
Right.
That you have a different belief system of what it is doesn't mean that it changes the definition.
No, the words still mean what they mean. They still mean what they mean. That reminds me. It's funny because because I am a licensed insurance agent, so that's like my Monday through Friday gig. It's paying bills currently. Coaching will pay the bills in the future. But with the licensed insurance agent, I tell people that, and immediately a lot of people don't like insurance. They start to look at me negatively, like I'm going to try to sell them something. Like, honey, I'm not selling you anything. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I don't care. Right? So being thoughtful, I'm like, okay, yeah, my job is that. Who am I? I'm a women's empowerment coach. I'm someone who serves. I'm someone who helps other people heal and grow and develop. That's who I am. That's what I do. So I love that question. Because there's a difference.
The next one is, what's the most misunderstood part of your journey? What is the most misunderstood part
Oh,
about your journey?
the most misunderstood part about my journey. Probably the fact that I needed to go through it at all.
Mm,
Absolutely, because I was married for 12 years and I went from my parents' house to my ex husband's house back, home. Right. I moved away. I left everything that was attached to the ex husband and went back to what I knew as home. And there are so many people in my life. They're like, well, if you had just walked away sooner, if you hadn't even gotten married, why did you need to go through all of that? You didn't need to go through all of that to get to where you are. How do you know what
ooh,
I needed to go through to get right here? Because I remember who I was when I got married. And there's a lot of growth that I was thrust into through that union. A lot of growth. I thought I was one individual. I, and it's so funny, people say they lose themselves in a relationship. No, you give of self with an expectation of a return. This is your ROI moment. What is the return of your investment into this person, into this relationship, into this job? So you give of self. You don't lose self, you release self. So I entered into that one way, released all sorts of things, all sorts of aspects of who I knew myself to be in a very sort of junior baby like state, right? And then that was not nurtured by my partner. And I had to dig myself out of it, right? So then I had to begin to feed into myself and plant new seeds that I then began to water and that could only flourish outside of that union. So no one can say, oh, you didn't need to go through all of that to get there. I actually had to go through something to tear down my misconceptions of who I was then to be the better version of who I am in front of you right now. And I don't even get upset by it. Ooh, I got to have some people in my past who can't wait to see my ex who want to put hands, and I say, don't worry about it. I said, I have no animosity, no ill will toward my ex
right,
at all, because I was forced to grow into this amazing woman. Because after my union ended, I was like, I was 230 pounds. So I was significantly bigger. I didn't think I was worthy of love on any level, right? I didn't think I was worthy of romantic love at all. And I thought that in order to love me, I had to do something for you. I
right,
didn't I didn't think that I could just exist and be loved. Okay. And I had to discover how to love myself as I was at my biggest weight ever, pushing reset on my life. I had a job making nice money when I got divorced, and I wound up working at Home Depot doing merchandising, making $8.50 an hour. Yeah, I think I was making like $8.50 an hour doing merchandise. I didn't skip a single car payment. I didn't miss a single bill I had to pay at all. So even though my money was much smaller, I was still provided for. And I understood how to work, understood what to do to work. And then I said, okay, I need to get my mental health right. I need to get my body right. What music am I listening to? What
right,
food am I eating? Who am I around? Reestablishing relationships, determining what relationships I actually want, what friendships I want to have, understanding how to embrace my life that I have right now, because I have no attachments.
mm,
I have no attachments. I have no children that I have to tend to. I don't have an expectation for my future. I get to determine what my life looks like. That is the gift that I was given. I get to build the life I want.
you know, a lot
Yes.
of people don't know they can,
Mm.
and they don't know that they are currently.
Right.
This is the crazy
Yes.
part. They don't know they can, nor do
Mm.
they know that they are currently. So building that life looks like, if I'm not paying attention. So I always use this example. Let's say you're on, and I don't know if you know 42nd Street well, but for those that's in Manhattan or have been to Manhattan, 42nd Street. Let's say you're getting off at the train on Lexington on 42nd Street,
I
and you
like
tell
some
the
more.
cab driver, I need to get to 50. I always say like 50, like Second Street or whatever, in like Madison Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
There's turns that the cab needs to take to get there.
Okay.
However, you're on your phone in the back of the car. You're on your cell phone in the back of the car, right? And you're not paying attention to shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the cab driver is a yellow cab, hello yellow, and it's going straight up 7th Avenue. It's straight past 4 blocks for where you need to go.
Yep.
That's life. That's
Yeah.
life. So life will take you. You'll get there, but it'll cost your ass a couple of dollars if you're
Yeah.
not paying attention to where you're telling life to take you.
Right.
Like we can literally tell life, take us over there. I literally wrote out my year projection for the end of this year for everything I want to
Oh,
do on
I
my
love that.
page. Prior to writing that, I want to say, and I always go back to this, my homegirl Veronica, I love her. Shout out to Veronica. She had said, I had wrote on a post about maybe April, May. I said, I'm looking at LIU for my doctorate of education. I'm looking to do this in the third. And she was like, girl, can we walk? Because, I just walked. So thank you for the congratulations before we got on. Like, she's like, can we walk first? And I was like,
No.
in my head,
You've done it.
I walked in January,
Mm-hmm.
right? In my head. Although it didn't happen yet, in January, I did the walk. It wasn't real until I sat in the chair. I'm not going to lie. But I've done the walk. So
Oh
watch
yeah.
this, right? So watch
Oh
this.
yeah. I get it.
So not only did I do the walk, I had already know what school I want to go to, know the next moves, what I want to take. When you are that many steps ahead, sometimes you can't, I want to say like you can't really stop. There's nothing not stopping you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say you can still be present, but when you slow down and be present, you be like, I wasn't thinking about that. You're not thinking about next week. You're not thinking about a month from now. Are you serious? So it's something about acknowledging that you can change tomorrow, that
Mm-hmm.
you can plan for tomorrow, that you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to know all the answers, but you do need to know where you're going. And one last
Mm-hmm.
tidbit, if you are not aware of where you're going or where you want to go, life is going to take you any fucking where.
I literally just made a video about exactly that today. I didn't post it because I got caught up with other stuff, but I made a video today saying you don't have to know how you get there. Just know that that's where you want to go. Know that that's where you want to go, and then take micro steps to get there, because little steps turn into big steps. They add up. So having that foresight, saying, okay, we're going over there, and I would like the most direct route. Hopefully, you may need a windy route depending on your personality.
Here's the thing. Just know where you're going, man. And then put it
Mm,
in GPS. Right? I'm gonna
mm,
use it for some. I'm gonna probably try to figure out what GPS could stand for, God purpose system or something. But just put in GPS. Listen, I want to go get a doctorate. Let God figure it out. I want to do
mm,
this and third. Let God figure it out. Because if you
mm.
say what you want, and there's an old school saying that nothing that is supposed to be in your lane will get in your lane if you know where you're going. You know what to say no
Mm.
to. There was this thing I heard about this guy building an elephant. Y'all always hear me say this. And he was chipping away at an elephant without without like some kind of
A
instruction.
reference. Okay.
And he's
Yeah.
chipping away at the elephant. He made the elephant. So somebody asked him, how did you know to make an elephant? What did you do? He said, I chipped away everything that was an elephant. And it just made sense. When we're on a
Yeah.
journey, we know we want to go. Why would I sidetrack to do something else? I'm not going to do nothing else different. I don't want to go left. I want to go this way. No, go left. I don't want to go left. I'm going straight because straight is
Right.
where I'm going. Right. If I
Yes.
need to go left, it's only because I have to pivot. But enough about me. Enough about me. Enough about
Okay.
me. Let's get this next question. What does winning look like to you right now? Not last year,
Mm.
not last week, but right now. What does winning look like to you?
Winning right now, rewind. Winning for me right now looks like showing up for myself every day. And that's showing up for myself, whatever it is that I need that day. So, because I am on this, fitness, we're going to use fitness as an example. I, in my brain, want to work out 5 days a week. 5. They don't have to be Monday through Friday, just sometime between Sunday and Saturday. I
Right.
need to work out 5 days a week. Well, that's not realistic sometimes. If I slept like crap the night before, I went to work all day, got emotionally drained at the job because of some drama or something that happened, and I get home and I'm exhausted in my man. My brain is like, let's go. My body said, you do this, you're going to hurt yourself more tomorrow.
Right. Right.
And this literally happened to me last week. Last week, I got home and I was like, okay, I need to work out. I need to work out. I need to work out. I've got to get this done. I'm on a mission. I'm not seeing the results. I need to go work out. I got in the house and I sat down and I said, okay, I'm going to go do this. I got on my clothes and I was standing there and I just couldn't. I said, okay, I respect you. I put on my bedclothes. I crawled into my bed. I didn't go to sleep. I rested. I turned on my TV and I just lounged until I was relaxed enough and I went to sleep.
Right.
And I honored my body. I honored what I needed in that moment. That is winning for me right now, is honoring what I need daily. If I need to turn off my television, okay, I like the Scream franchise. I like the John Wick franchise, like the Matrix franchise. Sometimes I don't need all of that banging around in my brain.
I'm a ratchet TV person. So I will toss on some Basketball Wives. I will
Okay.
toss on some Black Ink. I will toss on some and I only watch one of the Housewives, and it's Housewives of Potomac. And it's the most
Yeah,
random Housewives to watch, but it's like the best
it's
for
the best
me.
one.
I
See, I
love
love
that
that.
one,
I
watching
love
it for some
that.
years, but I would definitely turn on some ratchet TV or something
Right.
document because I don't want to think. And I
I
feel
understand
like
that.
the thing, it just takes you and escapes you into their world.
It does. And people who put on comfort programming, which is what that's called, sometimes that's more detrimental for you than picking up a book or putting on some meditative music or maybe doing like a different frequency tone or something in the background while you clean up your space. So sometimes I'm like, yes, I'm going to go watch that. And then it's like, no, that doesn't feel right to me right now.
Mm.
What feels right to me right now? And then making the adjustment. So that is winning for me, giving myself what I need on a daily basis and honoring that. Because if you don't do it, you knock on burnout's door or you burn out, you know? And you can, like you said before, you can take yourself off your journey. Instead of it being a pivot, it's a U-turn.
Mm.
And you're like, what? How the hell did I get off this
And here's
U-turn?
the thing, right? Can I also add
Mm.
those things are also on purpose? Ooh.
Yes. Oh, yeah. All of it works for you.
It
All of
all
it
gonna
works for
work
you.
for you.
It
But
all works for you.
if you just hurry up,
It's
it'll
like,
stop
okay,
spinning you.
yes,
It would stop. It literally stops spinning you.
yes,
So
yes.
so my
I
next
love
question
that.
to you is, take me to a moment, to the moment you realize I don't even recognize my life anymore.
Oh,
What happened? Take me to a moment where you realized I don't even recognize my life anymore. What
I
happened?
don't recognize my life anymore. You know, I don't know if I recognize that in the midst of it. When I stepped out of myself and out of my circumstance and looked at where I just was, I didn't recognize myself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, and when let me think about it. I know a moment when I got fed up, right? I know when I got fed up. I don't think it was a recognition, me not recognizing myself. It's just a moment when I got fed up. And I saw the people around me clearly. And I saw my circumstance clearly. And this was the summer, this is a summer of 2020. And I'm going to the near the end of my marriage because that is when my life began. I always tell people that I'm on the third book of my life, not the third chapter. Now people are like, oh, it's chapters. No, these are books. So before I got married, there was one book. My marriage was another book. Post
Yes.
was another book. So before I started this book of my life, I had to end the other one. And it
Yes.
was the spring summer 2020. And the ex-husband, um, and it's a series of events that happened, but the ex-husband had come home to visit because he was away working. He came home to visit, and we had a real deep conversation. And he used to manipulate or try to manipulate me in a lot of ways prior to us getting a divorce. And one of the things he used to do was he would threaten to divorce me. So he'd done it multiple times before, and every time I was like, "Well, what do I need to do? What can we fix? We can figure it out,
Right.
And the last time he said, "You know what? It's over. We're getting a divorce." I said, "Okay." We were in my car. He said, "We're getting a divorce. Take me home." He said, "Take me to the house." I said, "Okay." I didn't argue. I didn't, no rebuttal. I said, "Okay." And I drove him to the house, and I pulled up. I said, "All right, you gonna
Mm.
get out?" I'm like, "You gonna get out?" He said, "So yeah, we need to talk about how we're gonna split right now." I said, "That's fine." I said, "I'll be back in a little bit." Get out my car. Get out my car. He got out and went in the house. I left. I went to a nearby park. I think I cried for 5 minutes. Literally, it was not long. About 5 minutes. I had 3 friends of mine who had gotten divorces. I called each of them, asked them what the process was. I did. I said,
Walk
"What's
it
the
through
process?"
done.
I said, "What's the process to get divorced?" A friend of mine's like, "Oh no, my ex-wife worked in a law firm, so she did it." I said, "No worries." I called another friend of mine. She said, "I can't talk right now, but I'll talk to you later." I said, "Okay." And then I pulled up a list of apartments in the area, wrote down all of the addresses, drove by all of them to pick up applications and to see them. And then I went to the house. That was for me. And I think it was because I was ready at that point. And we've been working up to this for a minute. Because one thing I will say about a Black woman, we will stay in it. We will hold on. We will grip you tight because we are there. I'll say this about myself. My mother always says, "Baby girl, you're dedicated to a fault." She has said this since she's like, "You're dedicated to a fault." Because I know when I walk away from someone that I am gone. I don't go backwards. I
And
don't.
we like the little thing they do in the morning. We like the little thing they do when they come out the shower. We like the smell that they have. We like these like little things. So we like keeping people around for that, right? We hold on to
Right.
people when they
Yeah.
are here for a season
Yeah.
versus the absolute reason, right? So
Yep.
yes, I totally
Yep.
I understand.
Yep. So for me, that was probably when I was fed up, proud up the moment where I was clear in creating a new future. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I just knew that it was not going to be married, not to this person. And because I'm like, I'm not fighting for you anymore. I don't want this anymore. When you just don't have it in you to say, no, I said, okay.
Mm.
I leaned in to change. So that for me is I can't say it's a moment when I didn't recognize my life. It's the moment that I decided to live my life. Yeah.
All right. My next question for you is, what was your first real act of rebellion? Right? The first
Mm.
time you chose you, was that also this? Because you have a lot of books, am I right? A lot of chapters, right?
The first time I chose me, I it's the things you don't think about. It's like, well, how did I choose myself? I started acting. I'm gonna go to acting. I started acting post graduation um, in 2011, 2010, somewhere around there. And that's probably the first time I chose me. I was fervent about acting. I auditioned, I was going to practice, I was going to rehearsals. And because I was married at the time, I wasn't working. So I would keep the house straight during the day, cook dinner, have all the food plated, I would get the stepson out, pick him up from school, bathed, fed, food plated, dishes done, everything right, and go to practice. Come home, anything lingering, I took care of it, took care of myself, tended to the family, went to bed. I think that's the first time I chose me, and I began to see that I could have something for myself, because I hadn't began to paint sort of the life I wanted as an individual separate from the union. Because a lot of people, when they get married, it becomes about the marriage. It becomes about the partner. It becomes about the kid. Women don't allow themselves to be a human being first. I was Jayla before I was anything else.
Right.
Right. So the first time I chose Jayla, my first act of rebellion was probably when I started acting. I'm thinking 2010, 2011. Because I was in a series of plays. And at one point, I was in 3 plays at one time. I was going to practices and rehearsals 5 nights a week. It was full steam ahead. I said, let's go. We are doing this, And I think that was probably the first kind of nugget of truth that I was shining again, because I'd always been performing. I think that was it. Yeah.
All right. That was beautiful. Thank you for choosing you. How about that?
I'm glad I chose me too.
What did healing actually look like? Not the IG version, but the messy. I don't want to do this today version. And I guess I want to lean this onto the weight area too. Like, what does the healing look like? Like, I have to, like you mentioned it earlier, right? Like, sometimes things are not realistic, but in what ways does healing actually look like to you? And pardon, that's my dad. That's my dad.
Hi, I know. I keep seeing him walking by. It's like, hey, Daddy, what's up? So healing actually looks.
Are you coming to say hi, Dad?
Are you coming?
He's coming to say hello. He does this thing.
Come on. I want to see Dad. Let's go.
All right. And did you put your hat on just now? Yes, you did. All right.
I love him so much.
Hello,
hi, Dad. You are handsome, sir.
Thank you. You're beautiful.
Oh, don't start my dad. My dad would try to get your number right now. You're like, you saw she was looking at me.
She's telling the truth. I'm a big flirt.
He's a big flirt. He loves the
nothing wrong with flirting. I'm a fan. Yeah. It makes you feel good. There's validation in it.
There you go. All right, well, y'all ladies have a beautiful evening. I'm going to go ahead on and start eating.
Okay.
Love you, Dad.
Good night.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
All right.
So healing actually looks like self-acceptance and not judging yourself for what you're thinking and feeling. Healing is you owning all of the dark thoughts and the beautiful thoughts, because they're all beautiful in the end. Healing, prime example of healing, after I got divorced, I thought no one would want someone that's been used up, someone filthy. No one's going to want someone who's been divorced. No one's going to want a woman who's been divorced.
Right.
No one's going to want to marry this again. That's a part of healing. Healing looks like looking in the mirror at my body naked and saying, what the hell is this? I can't live in this body, being disgusted with my own body. And then saying, okay, I got to do something different. Healing looks like drinking a whole bottle of wine by yourself. I did it. I had a good time. I made a whole plan. I won't even lie.
You said a whole bottle of wine?
By myself.
First of all, what kind of wine? How big the bottle? Because it was like,
no. It's the standard 4 glass per bottle. All right. And I actually made a plan. I was working at the House of Representatives at the time. Okay. Because I did work at the House of Representatives at one point in DC. And I told everyone at work, when I go home tonight, I'm drinking a bottle of wine. They said, what? I said, I'm going to go to the store, buy this pink Moscato, and I'm going to go home and I'm going to drink this bottle of wine. They said, is that your whole plan? I said, tonight. And then tomorrow.
I love me some pink Moscato. I love me some pink Moscato.
I said, tomorrow I'm going to go to a cigar bar. I love it. I'm going to go to a lounge. right? I'm going to go to the lounge and I'm going to tend to myself. So that Friday, I drank the whole bottle. I did. I had enough nerve to only eat a salad beforehand. I don't recommend that. I think maybe put more in your stomach. I wasn't sick. I was just drunk real early.
It was a Mediterranean salad.
Girl, it was just a regular, amazing salad, but it was not enough. I needed bread, right? But I drank the
Right.
whole halfway through it. I was giddy. It was hilarious. I was watching The Best Man final chapter and drinking this bottle. So I drank the bottle of wine. The next day, I got up early, got my car work done. I went to a cigar bar, a cigar lounge that night. I watched amazing live music, got hit on by a
Yes.
father and a son duo. That was interesting. And then on that Sunday, I laid in the bed all day. That was it. Sometimes healing looks like self-care weekends, you know? And
Right.
sometimes healing is you literally crying so hard that your eyes get swollen shut.
Well, that's where this next question is going to come in at. So like I told you, I'm going to be, and let me fix my little piece.
Yes, I mean,
I told you I'm going to be asking some
yeah.
really deep questions
Go
according
as
to
deep
the
as you want to get.
information you gave and everything like that, right? You mentioned almost unaliving yourself, right?
Yeah.
But you made a promise at 12 years old. Why did that promise matter? Like what was this
Yeah,
promise? What happened? If you don't mind us.
sure. Imagine yourself at age 12.
Yes.
The upbringing that I had was great. I've been extremely privileged and blessed to have parents that were in the military who could provide for me. Because my
Nice.
father, my dad's the third born of 10. His family was po, not poor, po. Okay. They had real struggle and they were still happy, right? And my mother was not po, but she still wasn't like upper echelon financially, right?
Correct. Correct.
They were still good, like they were surrounded by love. So they made it a massive point on their own to give us that, because I have an older brother, to give us that same life. And when I think about myself at 12, I've lived in Japan at that point. I was born in Germany. I'm in Virginia, and I'm happy. And at the age of 12, I could clearly say, well, killing yourself doesn't make sense. Nothing can be so bad to end your life. First. Second, I would never want to do that to my family. How could
Where
I
did
do that?
this random thought came from? That is so intriguing.
Yeah, I'm like, I could, well, they were discussing it in school, believe it or not. They were having a whole dialogue about it in an act of prevention. And I made a decision that particular day. I was in science class. They showed us a video. And I said, I'm not going to do it because I wouldn't want to do that to my parents. Because nothing they could do could be so bad that I don't want to be here. Nothing. Like there's nothing. I love them. I don't want to break their hearts. And nothing. So I resolved within my innocence of 12 that nothing could make me do it.
You know, I don't think I've ever thought of suicide until my later years when
Right.
after losing my son. And the
I'm
thought
so
came,
sorry.
thank you. The thought came and then left. But the theory was, I had two different theories because I'm a creator of like narratives and such that I'm a creator of narratives, like because all you hear is the bottle clenching.
Right.
It's okay, Dad. So, as a creative, I see it as there's two doors. There's a
Okay.
door that's open, wide open, icky, nasty, yucky. It's disgusting, right? This door is just huge. And then there's a little door on the side that's a little cracked, but there's a bright light coming out of it. And the
Right.
big ucky yucky door, you can see everything that's in it. You see all kind of like just mishap, everything. But in that little light, you can't see it. So I always say I choose the light, right? I choose the light door. The other
Yes.
thing is that we all have an expiration date anyway. He gonna
Yeah.
take us one day. Why rush it?
I
Right?
like that. I like that a lot.
And there's some stuff I just haven't seen yet. Like I always tell people there's two things that I want to see and I haven't seen it yet, which I know I'm gonna
What?
see this year. You wanna know what it is, right?
Yes,
So
I want to
the
know.
first is the size 16, because I haven't seen 16, so I'm 16. And $2 million in my bank without owing anybody anything, which I believe is coming in the next few.
Yes.
So, you know,
We're
and then
touch and agree for all that.
created realities that is possible to happen in my life, like grandchildren, right? One day I want to be able to cook and make cookies with my grandbabies. Like I need to be here. So like imagine their little hands and doing stuff, and then my grandbabies. And I'm not shading nobody else's grandbaby. My grandbaby is going to be super smart, right? Because I have knowledge now that I could use that I didn't have when I had their mama or their daddy,
Right.
right? But now it's like, oh no, listen to Bach. We get in headphones.
Yes, right.
Eat this, eat that. Take the right vegetables. When baby pop out, start talking to the baby while it's in the. Hey,
Yes.
baby, this is your life.
Yes.
You want to be a lawyer because we need to get you into the Supreme Court so that this way we won't have another Trump situation. But you know, whatever.
That's a whole nother dialogue. That's an
30 years
offline
from now,
dialogue.
you could be a Supreme Court, baby. Baby already in law school in 5th grade. Like we talking.
I love
like,
that.
Prodigies here, right? But no,
Yeah.
I think of all the impact, all the things that I could do from now until my dash is over. So when you think of that, you get to like remove the idea of the other stuff. And I'm very thankful to hear how you shared it, because a lot of people, they have these thoughts in the moment of thinking of it, not thoughts in the moment of, well, I would never do that because that's silly or whatever. Yeah. Right. I think that is just freaking awesome. So
I do want to say this because of the innocence of the 12-year-old, because you see clearer when you're young like that. So my thoughts when I have those moments as an adult may have been cloudy. However, I trusted the 12-year-old version of myself to know what was better for me with regard to that, to have more insights, because you're not as tainted by society. Really. And I was fortunate to not be exposed to so many things my friends were exposed to by the time they were 12. You know, and I have some friends who've been through some heavy stuff before then. And I can thank her and say, you know what, thank you for allowing me to see clearly as an adult, you know, what kind of things I needed to experience with my life. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. My next question is, how do you coach women when you're still navigating your own wounds? How do you coach women when you're still navigating your own wounds? And honestly, this is a us thing, so I'm gonna let you go ahead.
Yeah, honestly, humbly, with vulnerability. I'm not confused about how far I've come, and because of my own sort of doctrine of radical self-acceptance and radical love, I embrace the fact that I have so much more to grow and more things to see and experience and do. So if I have a woman in front of me who has been just as broken as I was, or more broken than I was, you have the tools, first of all, because I am certified. So I got the tools. All right. I know how to have the session. And then I utilize my own experience, and I'm open and empathetic, and I listen. I listen to more than what they're saying to help them. And I don't have any ego in that. I don't have any ego in that. If I'm in a session, and most of the coaches that I know, when they are in a session, there's a revelation that comes from their own client.
Absolutely.
With them.
Absolutely.
So I stay in a position to learn, to be teachable, to be trainable. Even though I know it, I still position myself to learn and to continue to give. That's how you coach someone like that. Knowing that I still need to be coached.
Well, speaking of you being coached, here's your coaching session now.
No, not kidding.
So let's work on something. So a lot of folks don't know. Me and Jayla met some months ago.
She is so
My dad can't wait. You heard him, right?
No. What is Dad saying?
Dad said, she is so together. She reminds me of my baby.
Oh, yes.
Can't do this without him. Like, he has to be in the room because he always jump into the conversation. He's just
I love that so much.
He's always a part of everything. I love him so much.
You know what? My dad is very much that person too. Like he's like, my daughter. I love hearing him say it, my daughter. You know, and my mom's like, Yes, baby girl, because she will baby girl me down, and my dad will my daughter. And I have two amazingly supportive parents, and that is a blessing because not everyone's got it.
Right, right,
Not
right.
everyone's got it. And my parents are actually the parents for some of my closest friends. I have four sisters, not biological sisters. These are ride or dies almost all my life, four. And they are the parents for all four of them. If they ever needed anything, my mom is like, I will give you words of wisdom. I will give you that support. If you need a foundation to stand on and feel like if you feel like you're falling, my dad's like, I got you. Fall right here. And that's just how they've always been, you know? So I love the fact that your dad is in there like, yep.
My dad is different, man. I'm new to having a dad. So like the
Mm,
whole life of So I didn't have my dad for like almost 30 years of my life.
okay.
And he's been around for most of the for more of the traumatic parts of my life.
So he
So
showed
like
up when you actually needed him.
who would have know? So what I would say to people that are not with their fathers, and I'm gonna say fathers because we have a lot of folks that grew up in houses with absent fathers. If
Yeah.
you're not with your father because he is here and he's here on this earth and you're not with him, I say go revisit that relationship. Go revisit that relationship and try to figure out what you can do. You get to choose to do if you really want it. I desired a relationship with my dad. I made him a part of my LOA. A lot of people don't know what we're talking about, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know what that is.
And in 2019, I had put him on my list of goals to
Okay.
get to know him. So the steps that I took was I would talk to my dad for 20 minutes a week, 3 times a week, 20 minutes, 3 times a week for 90 days.
Okay.
He didn't know. I would just call him sometime and just listen to him breathe because I ain't really had nothing to talk about. And I didn't know how to create this relationship that I desired. I just knew that this was the step that I needed to take to do it.
Yeah.
And in the end of the 90 days, me and my dad were really close. He didn't know no better. He's here now. He didn't know, but he was definitely a part of something that I desired. And I know he wanted it too. It just
Yeah.
sometimes our parents don't know how to reach and get it. And if we got
Right.
the tools, we need to utilize that to do such. I want to
Yes.
say like from that point, like we was close from like 2016 all the way into that point. But from that point of 2019 till
Hmm.
now, there hasn't been like 3 days to go by so far that I don't get to speak to my dad. Like he's
I
always on the
love
phone
that.
calling me. And last year I did something with him that he's never done his whole life. He's 64 this year. He's never taken an airplane.
Oh,
So he came down from Rochester on an airplane, right? The first time ever.
ever.
And then he came down 2 more times on an airplane. So now he's Mr. Frequent Flyer. I'm like that, really? Really that. And he's
He's
like,
like, hey,
loved
I'm
it.
getting on a plane right now.
Whatever to come see me. So I just want those that are out there that have not decided to have a bond with their parent. Um, you know, and as long as it's safe. Right.
Yeah.
Let me
Right.
put that there
Right.
too, like a safe bond. Have that
Right.
bond. Like I have all my other traumas, my mama, but I'll talk about that another show. For right now, this is where
We'll discuss it. Yeah.
so as we was going into the coaching session, welcome to the coaching session. So what y'all don't know, as I was mentioning, is that the fact that I had look, my cousin is crazy. The fact that I met Jayla at an event, right? Fell instantly in love with this woman, like instantly. But right before the event, we was going back and forth and talking.
Yes.
We had met on a Zoom call together that we
Mhm.
presented for BGE for Black Girl Everything. Shout out to Dr. Pope. I love
Yes.
me some her. Dr. Glow is my girl.
Dr.
So,
Clem.
and if y'all haven't followed them, follow Black Girl Everything. I will
Yes.
be doing all her retreats and stuff. Like you gotta be there. So she was like, I have a product. I want to sell it, Rema. I don't, I'm not sure how to, When we show up, right, pull it out. When we show up to the event, book is done. Book is done. So I just wanted to see how that's going and tap in and see what other areas right now do you think that you can use some support.
Jeez. Because I am someone who's teachable, my response is everywhere. Tell me all the things, show me all the things, teach me all the things. Point, I will go, because let's see, where do I need help? Now you got me digging. Um, Getting what I in my heart of hearts, I would have corporate contracts.
Yes.
Corporate contracts. I want a corporate contract. I want to be signed into some kind of business and be a coach for their employees. I
I,
think that and more speaking gigs, like public speaking gigs, would be amazing. Those are the two
so
things that I really, really desire to do. One-on-one sessions feed me and they're delightful and they're beautiful.
I
It's
love
just that the first thing that comes to mind, corporate contracts and speaking gigs.
So my answer to you is this: who's your mentor? And you might want to take a pen and paper.
Coach Rema.
Right, Coach Remus, your mentor.
Coach Rema's my mentor. So
But
this is
who's
I use a sketch pad as a journal. I
okay?
do. This
That's
is just
fine. So
no
take
paper.
your note because what I'm about to upload on you,
All
you're going
right.
to love it.
All right.
So
We're gonna.
over the course of this last 2 weeks, I did this next level speakers conference given by Jeremy. Not going to mess up and botch his last name, but I'm sure it's there, right? His him. I only wanted to do it because Eric Thomas was a part of it, right?
Yes.
Like that was
Yes.
the reason
I
why.
was gonna. Ooh, I meant to
And
text you and ask you about that.
remember, I was like, yo, we gotta go, right? And I couldn't. Financially, I couldn't.
Okay.
However, what happened was quite divine. I spoke to one of my coaches, so I also have a coach, right? Because you have to have a coach.
Right.
And she was like, "Oh, they're always doing stuff out here in Atlanta. You want to come out here in Atlanta?" I was like, "Oh, great." She said, "You can stay with me." That knocked $1,500 off. I said, "All right, cool." I said, "All right, I just need the ticket, and I want the big ticket. I want the $1,500 ticket. I want this. I want that." Come to find out, couldn't go. And it was the
Okay.
weekend of my son's prom. So reality, I probably shouldn't have had, but I was just gonna
Yeah.
push it, right?
But you were like, we gonna make
I
this
called
happen.
his stepmom, was like, "Can you stand in? Can you stand in as me? Like, take a lot of pictures." We already had a deal. And then it dawned on me, you're getting ready to invest $1,500 for a ticket. You just dropped the book. You just did all of this stuff. You have every community center from here to Wazoo throughout New York City. You have every tenant association residency throughout New York City. You have contacts in the DA office, the mayor's office, the Manhattan Borough President office. You have everything, Rema.
Mm,
Invest in you.
mm.
I said, okay. And I said to my coach, I said, I'm not coming. And if God is good, like I believe he is, he'll bring the conference to me. Right. And I'll just go when it's
Yes.
pouring. Sounds like a plan, right? How
Hmm.
about the very next day I get an email from my coach that said, from your ears, from your mouth to God's ears. And it was the speaker conference live via virtual. $150, the same package I was going to get for 1,500.
Shut up.
When I say I instantly bought it and didn't think twice,
Yes.
baby. So when I say mentors, I'm gonna go here, right? Like, because I knew I needed to be in that room, and I was happy because now I'm a part of the speaker conference, which the speakers, the speakers, they have a group, but they have like different chapters. So I'll see if they have a chapter for you, throw you in that chapter. So that's the
Yeah.
first thing. The next thing is I follow this wonderful woman by the name of Ashley Nicole. Ashley Nicole.
That sounds familiar.
Share some of her stuff, but she happened to pop up on my feed one day, and all she does is talk about Speak Your Way to Cash. I think we should really invest in her book, which is Speak Your Way to Cash. She does not pay me to do none of this promo, but I feel like my mentors that are unreached, like I haven't touched them, I haven't seen them, met them, but I like my mentors a specific way. So
Yeah.
some mentors I have, some coaches I have, is just for me, right? I know you're my coach, I take your coaching. Other
Yeah.
coaches is online giving this expertise for free.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here in one of her conferences, I think it was like a 2-hour long conference she did last year, and I'm watching the whole thing like this with notes and pen and pad. She talks about getting speaking engagements with corporate. She talks about getting more coaching gigs. She talks about how to sell out events. That's the first thing that she ever taught me was how to sell out an event. And now I'm in the process of my book signing. For those that are watching,
I saw that.
the book signing and seminar coming up on July 6th. And honestly, I've been selling tickets because of her method. So
Okay.
you will want to first
Jeez.
figure out who's doing the thing. So this is me coaching you. Who's doing the thing that you want to do? Right? I'm not speaking at corporations. I am speaking in community centers, which is what I want to do. And it will pay the way I need it to pay because of the investment I'm putting in. For you, you want to speak at office corporate events. So, and I'm going to be very targeted here. What other Black women in the Ashley Nicole, she's Black. What other Black women are out there doing the thing that you want to do, and they are relatable to you, and they will tell you and teach you. And while they're teaching you, learn how you can then give that seed back to those that you're personally coaching. Now, when it comes down to coaching, period, do free sessions of group coaching. Like, do something where people know your expertise. We get on these platforms and we can talk, right? That's great. But what is your expertise? Who are you? What do you do? People see us, but they don't know us.
Right.
Right? I've heard some of your stuff. I love your stuff. I'm always sharing your stuff. I haven't done it in a while because I've been on a page, but I love your stuff. I'm always sharing your stuff, right? You're like somebody that I just like listen and talk. I love your face. I like listen to you talk. That's just what it is. Y'all gotta go follow her, right? Follow her. Let me put that back in here so y'all can follow her. Make sure y'all follow Jayla, please. Y'all gonna see what I mean. She's just so dope. So when I say this, I say you have a goal. The audience need to know it. There was something Eric Thomas said that got me. And I'm going to offer this. And he doesn't pay me to say this either. He said, and you're going to love this because this is what we do.
Okay.
I'm going to give you something. He said, people that are hiring speakers are not looking for people talking in phones.
Yeah.
Now watch this. When I heard that, I instantly uploaded all my speaking stuff that I've done. Now, Jayla, you have a lot of speaking stuff you have done. The question is, have you filmed it all? Now, before you answer that question, I need you to go find you a tripod.
I got one.
You're going to find you a tripod. Once a month, you're going to attempt to do something where you're speaking at something to more than 10 people. You can have 5 people in the room, doesn't matter. You're going to do something like, I'm going to my local library. I'm putting this seminar together. And I know you don't know a lot of people in your area, but go to where you know people. If you're able to get there, go. When you come to New York, hey, Dr. Glow, can I just do a quick reading of something there? Like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just as long as you're speaking in front of a crowd, because now I'm watching to hire you. So
Okay.
here's this clue. I'm watching to hire you. How does she hold the audience? Is the people getting her message? Is her message clear? Is she familiar with herself? Is she comfortable with delivery? Matter of fact, what is the purpose of the message? Is she talking to the right demographic?
Yeah.
Can she maneuver different keynote? And there was something else, a keynote speech. So they go, you should always have a keynote speech in the pocket. I'm like, I don't even know if I have one in the pocket. I was told earlier this year, come do a 10-minute speech for women. I said,
I can do it.
I don't talk a long time. What do you mean 10 minutes? So the first 3 minutes, I'm just trying to warm up. But I got it. And
yes.
I did 12. But I'm saying this to say, right, there's so many opportunities out there for you to create the room and create the space, right? And even if you want to go bigger, like for me, I'm getting ready to do this NYCHA tour with other speakers. And it was really dope for me to want to do it myself. And the tour itself was called I'm Not Your Nigga at first, right? And others is like, you should leave it that way. I don't know if I am. I don't know if I ain't. But it may be a quote in there that I'm not your nigga. I'm not ignorant. You know what I'm saying?
James Baldwin, man.
So right. Baldwin on it, right?
James Baldwin. So yes, James Baldwin.
I asked a couple of speakers if they're interested in joining me, right? Some folks that I coach. You coach people, right? So therefore you have you have the community of what I'm talking about. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, are you willing to do a tour with me? Are you willing to come out and do some coaching gigs with me? It's not going to pay, but I can guarantee you some content. And they're like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm booking 9 of them, right? So
Oh, yeah.
9 different speaking gigs. You're more than welcome to come to the city and do it. 9 different speaking gigs where we're empowering these folks, right? How much content is that?
That's
On the flip side, I need booked gigs as well. How much content is that? So we have
okay.
to think we can create even. So let's say every Saturday you're not doing anything. You don't have nothing booked, no nothing. Pay yourself first. Hence the employed by self piece, right? Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Pay yourself first. Hence the employed by self book. So when you pay yourself, you thinking it's financial, but majority of the time it's not. It's really about investing your time. So you
Right.
want you want to invest your time. I got Saturdays free. There's a library down the block. I know 2 people I'm coaching. Hey y'all, why don't we put together this thing where we can talk to about 10 people for free? And we'll let everybody know we are recording this live. They'll get a free conversation, they'll get some free coaching in the space, or maybe you tell them some stuff to lead to a coaching. Use the same model you use for life insurance.
Yeah.
So the model you use for life insurance is here's a lot of information. Now buy this on the back end.
Yep.
Use the same model. Hey, this is a lot of information. Now, if you want to do it yourself, this is how it looks. Done for you looks like this. And if you want a one-on-one, it looks like that. Here's the
Okay.
ebook. You can just register and get this ebook if you're signed up to our Facebook group. Here's the like, there's so many different avenues you can definitely plug in to do your speaking. Once you're doing your speaking, now you're somebody. Not that you're not somebody. Let me be very clear. But you want to be seen doing the thing you want people to hire you for. They're paying $5,000, $15,000, $1 million for people to come out for 10 minutes. I'm like, $50,000 like yesterday with one check, with
Yeah.
one conversation. Let me get that.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
even allowing yourself to have something like this, creating a platform, right? What's your platform? Are you impactful in your platform? Who are you interviewing? And I can show you the system that I did. So what I did right before this, because again, coaches is everybody, right? I listened to this coach named Shans, the guy that does the 7-figure podcast.
Yes.
So he did a free webinar that is actually on repeat. So it's an evergreen, and you know what evergreen is, right? So evergreen, for those that don't know, is when you do it one time and then you just keep playing it over and over again. He must have did it around Valentine's Day, and I watched it like a month ago, and you see the comment says Happy Valentine's Day. I was like, oh, really? So we're not even live with it. We're just recording and then I'm putting shit up, right? But
Mm-hmm.
he sat there and did a back and forth with someone that does podcasting with Eric Thomas for the last like 15 years or something like that. And it was a lot of information he gave. And one of the things that he talked about was having a platform and putting yourself as a authority. And he had a system of how he interviewed in order to get the most out of the interviews. Hence me saying I can have a podcast with structure that's not of the knowledge that I already have. See, for me, I have a layout that I do for entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
7 questions and I'm in and out.
Okay.
And it
Yep.
makes sense. And I can do that with
Yeah.
anybody and I can teach everybody that. But
Yep.
this way, and his model, again, none of these people pay me. So I'm showing you that for every aspect of my life and as far as my coaching space and the things that I want to do, I'm getting me mentors. I'm paying for the programs. I'm paying for the trainings, right? There's another lady named Maria Windent, I think, that I've paid for a $24 um and 24 courses. I mean, it's so dope. I got to give you this link for
I
that one.
need that link. We mentioned it before.
Yeah,
And we didn't follow up with you. Shame on me.
I still haven't gone through all of it because every one of the 24 courses have like 8 different segments to it. When I say I built my Facebook group from one of them and it's doing a thing, and I'm like, all right, miss, thank you. So there's so much out here that's really dope that we have access to. We just have to ask the right questions. And the questions I kept
Right.
asking was, how do I make multiple streams of income? How do I do it doing the thing I love? And how do I help other people do it as well? So in order to do that, I have to be coached by somebody that knows what they're talking about.
Yep.
And then I have to also listen to who they're telling me to point out to. Follow those people, right? I used to have this saying about Beyonce. I won't follow Beyonce, but I'll follow whoever Beyonce is following.
Yep.
There's a thing about celebrities. If you follow the celebrity, that's great. But if you follow who the celebrity is following, that's the person behind the magic. They usually always
Yeah.
follow themselves on a celebrity's pages that they monitor. So you want those people. So now I'm looking at agents, right? Who's the agent behind this one? Who's the agent behind that one? Who's the management companies? Like, look into this stuff, right? And then
Okay.
ask yourself, do you have the book? Not a book. And I know the book that I have right now is a book because it's a workbook. It's not the book. It's not the bestseller yet. Now with Ashley Nicole, she talks about how you get a bestseller book. Girl, all this is free on YouTube.
I know where I'm going to be living.
So
I'm going to be living right there.
the next piece that I'll say before I wrap this session is, and what other areas, like with what other areas do you think that you can use some assistance? Like, what does that look like to you? With matter of fact, no. And the next year, where you want to be, and jump.
Okay. So for me, next year, where I want to be, believe it or not, I want to honestly, I want to be
Oh,
performing in a musical. I want to be performing in a theater production. You know, what, 8 nights a week? I want to be in something major in that regard. I want to have the corporate contract locked in, bringing in that income, and I want to be booking and be booked for the speaking gigs. Like I want to be in my creative niches there. I want to
so
be
now
in that.
let's change this language.
Yeah.
Let's change language. First of
Yes.
all, we don't want none of that stuff.
Okay. So in a year, be I will be performing in a theatrical production.
Now I want you to get more specific about that too. Where are
Okay.
you performing at? What city? What state? Where? What's the theatrical
We're,
performance?
we're
See,
going we're going big or we're going home. All right. So in a year from now, I will be in a theatrical production in New York on Broadway. Either
okay.
on Broadway or off Broadway. I'm good
So
with.
now I need you to go even more thicker. I want you to go more thinner. So this is what it looks like. I want you to look up the directors, I think it is, of the play, or whoever the writers of the play is, and I want you to state that writer. That's who you're going to perform their play on Broadway. Like they can have like 5, 6 plays on Broadway. It doesn't matter. But I want you to niche all the way down. I want you to get all the way down to the nitty gritty and be iron focused on that person or that particular thing. Because when you
Okay.
do, then that thing will start popping out. So let's say I wanted to perform for Jakayla's play, right? Now I know the author, the person that I want to perform because I love their writing. I love how they put their characters together, blah, 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 right? I did my homework. Jakayla's plays are dope as all, right? Now when I'm meeting people and they're in New York or I'm meeting people around and like, what you been up to? Well, I'm looking at Jakayla's play. I'm looking to go perform that next year. Yeah, I'm looking at Jakayla's play. I'm looking at going to perform that next year. I'm looking at
Okay.
Jakayla's play. I'm looking to perform that now. I'm gonna show you what happens. You have absolutely no idea who knows the fuck Jakayla is. Nobody knows. You
Yeah.
don't know who knows who, right? Because we don't have conversations about the things that we want regularly. We have conversations about the things that's happening in the moment. We have conversations. How have you been? Is all I hear. How have you been? You watch me on Instagram, and this is me just having a little moment, but I got you. You watch me
Get
on
it.
Instagram. You watch me on Facebook. You see me in the street. You've been to everything that I've done. You know how I've been. I've been fucking great. Ask me
Stop
what I'm
asking me
doing
about it.
next. Ask me what's coming up.
Yep.
Prepare
Yep.
for my shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're telling people what you're looking to do, their brain does a thing. And I'll give you an example. This is why I say the great, right? Imagine you are waiting for a car and you're outside and you're in the middle of whatever and you're waiting for a car. Let's say it's in the middle of a city area. So cars are always going back and forth. And I say, I'm picking you up in a green car, right?
That's so funny. My car is green. Keep going. I'm not lying. I drive a 2021 green Mini Cooper.
I watch this. I say I'm picking you up in a green car. You're outside. All of a sudden, you see 18,000 green cars, and I'm 10 minutes late. So you're definitely seeing every green car that passes by.
Mm,
When you give somebody the idea of what you want, right? Their mind becomes focused on that thing when they see it.
mm.
So you're gonna
I
go talk to somebody
ooh, ooh,
and you're
ooh,
gonna tell them, hey, I want to do this thing with this writer or director. They're going to say something very similar to this, and I'm just gonna prophesy it, right? They're gonna say something like this: I know her. That's my cousin's sister.
mm.
I could probably connect y'all. Would you be interested? Matter of fact, we're gonna be doing a party for my cousin. You should come to the party.
You know something? Ooh. So my current boss for the insurance agency I work for, she knows that I'm a licensed certified women's empowerment coach. And she said to me, she said, we got to talk about that because I know a lot of people. I need to know what kind of platform you want and where, so that I can talk to the people and figure out how to get you in the room. She literally said this to me yesterday.
Uh-huh. So now I'm saying it to you again. Get serious about it because you're
Yeah,
serious about it. If you wasn't serious about it, you wouldn't say it.
that's true.
Right? So
Yeah,
for me, the multiple lanes is important for income because I want to move,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I have all this talent, I know how to do all this stuff. How do I make all of this connect? If I was to tell you,
Yes, yes.
if
That's
I was to
really
tell
great.
you that the show is to promote the book signing, the show
Mhm.
I'm only going to do 9 episodes, and that's going to be the season wrap. Now watch this. Each show, because right now your show is going into 3 episodes for the TV show.
You're
I
right.
just literally chopped up in this one show 3 episodes for my TV show content. So now I
Mm,
have all summer, all fall, and some winter done out of those 9 shows. Let's go here too. Out of every show, I get to repurpose the clips. So I get about 40 clips in my repurpose program,
wow. Yeah.
right? So in per video, right? So in that repurposed clips, I get 40. If I have 9 shows, 9 times 4 is 360. So I have 360 different clips that I get to repurpose over and over again. That's being done by you and me for the
Yeah.
next couple of months.
Mm,
I get to do the interview process again starting in September. So if I don't want to interview nobody for after this July, I don't have to.
you don't have to.
Content.
You can, you don't have to.
So now I learned how to not only create the content that I needed, put calendar to content, chop content, repurpose content, all the things that I really wanted to learn how to do. I learned it.
Yeah.
Now I do that on the side. So what y'all seeing on social media is content that's repurposed right now.
Mhm.
I have 700 hours of content, maybe like 1,200 hours that I've never used, never really did anything with. That I'm playing with it now on YouTube, that I'm playing with it now on my pages. So you're seeing different hairstyles, you're
Yep.
seeing different
Which
action.
I'm loving, by the way. I'm
I'm
like, okay,
talking,
what?
I'm talking about like COVID time. During COVID, I went crazy with content. So now I'm showing all of this stuff while on the back end, I don't have to stress those things. Now I get to do the work in the community the way I want to. I get to, so this is the upfront stuff. This
Mm-hmm.
other stuff I get to, but I had to figure it out. So I
Yeah.
said, do I want a podcast? I'm gonna turn Big Beautiful and Wealthy into a podcast. I was just doing this like talking to the camera thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm gonna turn it to a podcast. And as I'm turning it to the podcast, I said, but it got to be something that's really impactful to those that's watching. I don't want another red hot topic show, like red
Right.
pill blue pill show, even though that's good. But
Mm-hmm.
I've done radio for years and I've always done that, right? Like I'll tell people that I think men are all gay because they jerk off. If you know how to make yourself come, you can make another man come. And people be like, what's wrong with this girl? Like my shows has been crazy. I
Yes.
had a midget, I had 2 midgets teabag me, flip me over to my back and front, just all kind of weird shit when I first started radio. I used to do laundry. I used to wear lingerie, full-fledged lingerie for 11 months every Monday, right? For my talk show that I did in 2012. I was wild. I did that. Now
Yeah.
that I'm this Coach Rema, what do Coach Rema talk about? What is Coach Rema doing? So it was like, all right, have these interviews with these folks, but also give strategy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put yourself in position to look like the expert you want everybody to think you are. So, Kayla, to you, I'll say the same. Whatever your platform is, it doesn't have to be as intense as mine because I'm doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But that's only so I can get the content together, so I can do the TV show because I have a TV show I had since 2018, and it doesn't have like the stuff. And I don't know who's watching it at 11 o'clock, but somebody's watching Remo. Because sometimes I hear people say, I saw you on TV. And I'm like, yeah, what was I talking about?
What was going on? I don't remember.
And baby, there's stuff that I used to put on here, and it had a lot to do with my old life. So it's like, well, who am I today? And am I giving that enough grace? So as I offer you this beautiful coaching session, I say, Jayla, get you a mentor. Start training up in home through YouTube College for the things that you say you want. When you say that you want to go be a part of somebody's coaching, excuse me, you want to be a part of somebody's Broadway play, don't say somebody's because you don't want trash. And I'm not calling nobody trash on Broadway.
No. It makes complete sense. It needs to be more focused because we want quality growth and we want it to be a thing, not just a hobby. Yeah.
You want the specifics in that. What are you asking for? And then you want to talk to people about it. Do not keep this to yourself. No, I'm going to go work at Jayla's play. I love her writing. She got another play coming up. Like, follow her online. Have the conversations. Find her when she's having or he's having their speaking gigs and they're doing like these big conversations. Follow them. They're in a seminar, webinar, join it. Let them see you keep showing up. Be in their face because you are the it thing they need. Right? If this is, and I'm dropping this, if this is what you want.
That part.
Because I go through that with my weight. Is this really what you want? Right?
Feel that.
Is this really what you want? Because you say it, Rema, but is this really what you want? So I offer you the same thing, right? And then before I wrap this up, I got 3 more questions for you and we out of here. You cool? We got you? Got you? All right.
Let's go. You got me.
I love you.
You got me. I'm here. I'm right here.
So the next question is, what message do you want every person to take from your story, whether they've been divorced, broke, or broken?
That their story is actually not over. I want them to recognize that they went through that already. And I want them to see exactly where they are right now. Clearly, wherever you may be. I've said to someone before, I said, if you don't like the truth that you're hearing, change your truth. So if you don't like what you're looking at right now, adjust so that you can like what you're looking at later.
Yes.
So I want them to recognize that their story is not over and that they have the ability, not necessarily this brute force strength, because sometimes strength is gentle, right? I want them to recognize the gentle strength they have inside of themselves and know that they can go forward to whatever they want.
I love that. I love that. So before I get to my last question, I want to go here. I want to talk about the workbook.
Yes, ma'am. You want me to grab it again?
You could grab it again, put it to the camera so we can all see it. And I need to know, well, is this workbook online yet? Oh, see, this is some bullshit. This some
It is not. It is not online.
Let me tell you something.
I have no good reason either. Anything I could give you would be an excuse.
So here's what you're going to do. I'm going to give you this. I gave somebody this yesterday, and I'm going to give it to you now. Because your ebook is in PDF form, right? It's in Word form, and you're able to download and print. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You're going to go sign up for Gumroad, GUMROAD.com. and you're going to sell it on Gumroad because it's free to sell. Gumroad takes like a 10% or whatever of whatever you want. However much your workbook is, you can actually sell it as an ebook and someone can print it. If you look into doing a fillable PDF, they can actually use it on their laptop, tablet, phone, right then and there if they download and open it, because that's that. Do not put it in Word, but use a fillable PDF. I think we could do that with Adobe, where they could just write into it. So if it's a daily journal, they can write into it and things of that nature, right? But you want to sell this thing. If you choose to sell it physical copy, find out how much it costs for you to do a distribution. So distribution, my distribution company is with lulu.com. So now we're talking about the cover of the book, the way it feels, the way it looks. Like my book is, hold on, I'm gonna get a copy. Like you got a copy.
I want to see it.
So the thing that I loved about the book, and that I was very I was trying to figure out if it was a thing or not, was I wanted the size.
Right.
I wanted my book the size of my
that.
Book, right? Yeah. So then when I felt it, I said I didn't want glossy. I wanted a matte. And if you look, it says the Big by the Big, Beautiful, and Wealthy collection. So this is actually one of almost 10 books that I've already written. Okay. Of course, I co-wrote it with Chat, but I've had Chat give me a lot of assistance with what I wanted to say. It has all of my feeling in it. And guess what? Guess what? This book goes for $30, right? And it's a workbook. So you get to let me show you. So there's sections in here where you're writing your thoughts, right? Same as your book. Same as your book. I can show you how I did it on here and turned this book. So let's have a session outside of this.
Yes.
Because y'all gonna have to pay for that session. So me and you gonna have a session outside of this so I can show you what I did to turn your book. Let me see your book. Put it up again. Turn your book into this.
Into that, yeah.
And then actually sell it with a broad distribution.
I love that.
Like today, I ordered 35 copies for July 6th.
Okay, yeah.
So and in doing such, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because they're real copy. I get to sign it,
Yes.
So let's get you the look that you need. Let's get this book going. The 90-day workbook belongs in everybody's house. Can we be honest? Like,
it does.
Everybody needs one. And you can even do raffles. You can even do like, hey guys, if y'all. So now you're not selling where you're shipping it yourself, because that sounds great. But you're actually selling where somebody else is shipping and taking care of it. So let's get there. I wasn't there when I showed you the other way, because I definitely was like, I need to print my stuff and bring it with staples.
Yes, I feel you. I feel you.
Like, I do little spiral because I'm good at that. I can do small workbooks. But for these workbooks, we need to really be mindful. Like, nah, I can really, all right. And it looks good. So before we wrap up, I have this last thing for you. I want you to finish this for me. And this is going to be our big, beautiful end of the conversation line.
Okay.
Right? I became wealthy when I finally what? I became wealthy when I finally what?
I got it. I became wealthy when I finally got out of my own way.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Jayla. Coach Jayla, can you let them know where to find everything? I have your Instagram going on the bottom, but is there anything else that you want, like a website, anything you want them to go to?
So I am now on TikTok. And it's interesting because you were talking about repurposing your content. I'm taking all of those videos that are on my Instagram page, 600 plus, and they're now finding their home on TikTok gradually. So TikTok's the same thing. It's Jayla Marie _coaching on TikTok. If you want to book me, talk to me. If you want to have a one-on-one session, if you are a corporate contract and you want to have that dialogue with me, honey, I'm here for it. You can actually email me at JaylaKCoaching, JaylaKCoaching@gmail.com. I assure you, I will respond. If you don't want to email me, if you want to get more exposure to who I am, the Instagram and the TikTok pages are your best reference for me. And I am more than willing, able, and excited to talk to anybody about future connections and growth opportunities with each other.
I love it. I just say thank you. And for everybody else, this is the Big, Beautiful, and Wealthy live TV podcast. It's one of those things. We're going to figure it out. It took me a while to say Coach Rema. So just imagine how long it's going to take me to really fully put the Big, Beautiful, Wealthy live right out there. So make sure y'all tune in tomorrow where we have my girl Karima. She is definitely oh man. So I'll be live 8 o'clock tomorrow. She is something else. She is a lawyer. And she's also a podcast host. She's a personality, and she's been a really big supporter of everything Rema. So I really can't wait to interview her as well. Coach Jayla, see Coach Kayla is getting ready to happen again.
So you keep trying.
But
It's right there.
he says it.
Marie.
Read it.
Right on the wall.
I absolutely appreciate you. I love you. I appreciate your story, and I thank you so much for being a part of all of this.
Thank you so much.
Tonight, and I will see you soon. Let's definitely set something up so we can discuss a little bit about. My cousin said this was amazing. You ladies have touched on some huge sensitive spots, much needed. Have me over here crying like a big baby, but I enjoy watching. I love you, Cuzzo.
I love you, Cuzzo.
Right. So what I'll say is this: let's link up. Let's find some time. I will definitely, have the Zoom call with you, and we can talk about how to turn your book into that book. Right.
Yes.
For those that's watching, make sure y'all stay tuned to everything Coach Rema. So at Coach Rema on Instagram, Coach Rema the Great on Coach Rema the Great on LinkedIn, TikTok, all that stuff, right? And also look, and just she said that right there.
Aww.
And then also, if you're looking at our YouTube channel, definitely the Big Beautiful Wealthy YouTube channel. Definitely subscribe. Tell other people to subscribe. Share this, and I will see you guys soon. Deuces. I'm your girl Rema, and I'm out. Later.
Bye.